WDWNT, the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news. This is ParksCenter. Hello there, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of ParksCenter. My name's Ben, and joining me tonight we have Jill.
Hello.
Nathan.
Oh, Kungaloosh, everybody.
And Rob.
Muted?
Muted, Rob?
Wait. Wait.
Wait for it.
Wait.
This better be good.
What's up?
Hey!
Well worth the wait.
Professional as always on this show.
Yeah.
Regulars of the show might recognize the fact that I am in fact a square tonight and not a circle. We were going to have Allison on tonight, but unfortunately she had to call out sick at the last moment. Hope you feel better soon, and we are very sorry that you could not join us tonight, especially for this first topic. This would have been right up her alley. So FuelRods, we found out relatively recently, we're going to start charging per swap. It's going to be $3 to swap your fuel rod for a fully charged one inside the parks now and at the hotels, which is insanely high on its own. And then there's the fact that there's a class action lawsuit that's been filed against FuelRod over the fact that they're now charging fees for this when originally they had signage that said unlimited free swaps. This is something that I believe I called as going to be something that happened back when we first heard about this. This, to me at least, this is just blatantly obvious false advertising. I don't understand how this could be anything but that. Like I was sold on free swaps for life, and now I'm finding out it's $3 swaps for life, which is no, I'm out. I want my money back.
You bought a fuel rod, right? You've done the whole buying.
I've done that.
Is there any small piece of paper or anything that you get that's a bunch of tiny words that comes with that fuel rod?
I think there is. There's a little piece of paper inside the plastic tube insert when you first get it. I don't recall if there's anything on there along the lines of like a terms of service or something like that.
Yeah,
I could dig it up and find out, but
I'm wondering if that's where. I don't think this class action lawsuit is going to go forward very far. Generally, businesses think about these things a little bit before they, make such claims. That doesn't stop the fact that fuel rod is the movie pass of energy, and this is if they go out, it's probably because of their own doing more than anything else. I just don't think it's a viable business model. But that is not, from what I've been told, Disney is setting that $3 price, not fuel rods. I could be wrong about that, but from what I've been told is that's sort of a part of the conversation with the theme parks, because Universal's cheaper than that as well. So I don't know. This is not only sort of a miserable thing, but it's a miserable thing that's compounded by Disney doing, if I'm accurate, Disney doing what Disney does currently, which is charge for things more than they need to.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Universal is $3 too, because I remember seeing that and thinking, oh my God, I hope that doesn't come to Disney. And now here we are, it's come to Disney. But I don't think Ben had ever said limited for life. It just said unlimited swapping. So I think that they're, like Nathan said, they probably chose their words very carefully. It does feel like a bait and switch. I have 6 of them. So, yeah. I mean, I definitely run out of, and we've talked about this before, I run out of power when I'm using my phone in the parks because I'm taking pictures. I'm using the app that they make you use. It can drain a battery. So it's really been nice to be able to go in and swap these out. So, I mean, I don't think that the class action suit has any legs on it either. I'm sure that they probably cover their bases either in the terms of service when you're hitting the iPad and you're ordering one, or maybe in that piece of paper, which I also threw out when I got mine. But I think that, ultimately it's really probably going to cut down on how many swaps people do, if they do them at all. And I mean, when I come, I'm going to have all mine charged and just carry them with me the whole time. And not worry about doing that. But the airport, they started the charging first, and they charge for $1. I remember going there and thinking, hey, I'm just going to swap this out real quick. And then it said $1. And I thought, oh, that's ridiculous. $1. Definitely don't want to do that. and now here it is $3. It's I mean,
Making that
it's
$1 look a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is.
I'm curious.
Rob, I just checked. You are correct. Universal
Yeah, it is
is
$3.
also $3. So my mistake
Cool.
there.
I'm curious why Disney got away with not got away with, but how Disney like kept on not charging for so long when I've never seen FuelRods free swaps anywhere else. And I don't know if was Disney subsidizing something and they decided they wanted to stop, or is this the flip side of what Nathan was saying, that Disney wants to make money off this now when they weren't before. But yeah, I don't agreed all the way around as far as the lawsuit. I'm sure they thought they had a plan in place for being able to charge at some point when they probably even put these in. I don't think there was no guarantee that you got as a customer that it was unlimited swaps for ever and ever.
If that's the case, then they knew something that was not public at all, because FuelRods were free unlimited swaps everywhere, including airports and all that from day one.
Right.
That's been a recent change. So if Disney was planning on charging for this later on in life, honestly, I think FuelRod must have been like in bed with them as well, because this sounds like something that they would at least need to approve of. Like, Disney couldn't just say, we're going to charge this, when FuelRod said, no, part of our branding is that it's free swaps. You can't do that. But they had to be complicit in this at a minimum.
Yeah, whatever that contract is, it's got to be weird.
Yeah.
I don't think that Disney made the choice without FuelRod being involved. I mean, the lawsuit is against FuelRod. It's not against Disney, so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think it's in Disney's best interest to actually supply some kind of an option like this, because of how much they want you to use their app, and how much, by doing mobile ordering and by buying things on the app, that they can really, use it to make a little bit of money. They should be thinking ahead of time to say, hey, look, maybe there's another option for us. If it is FuelRod who's saying, hey, we're going to knock it up to $3. I mean, we talked earlier, in an earlier episode, about the idea of Disney doing these and theming them, and people would want to collect them and all that. But I think Disney should offer this as a solution so that people can use the app from rope drop until closing.
Yeah, I mean, this is something where, as you mentioned, Robin, we've talked about this. If this dries up, which Disney might kind of want now. This smells really like a D-Tech thing, and it smells like something they can give away to hotel guests or whatever, and you can swap. So I wouldn't be surprised if Disney were to latch onto this if FuelRods were to go away eventually, which I think they will. Let's give it a year.
Yeah, that sounds about right at this point.
The other part of this is it's not like FuelRods are great. Like, they're kind of garbage as far as portable chargers go. So if you're talking, like, I can get a really nice portable charger for $30, and if I'm going to have to pay to swap it, like, why wouldn't I just go somewhere and charge it? Or I can buy a $30 charger that will last me all day, and I don't have to worry about swapping it.
That's actually detailed in the lawsuit. That it mentions in there the fact that these are very subpar chargers that they're giving out for these ludicrously high prices, because people are presumably paying for the privilege of being able to swap them out, not recharge them.
On a final note, you see things like Space Mountain now has new chime. Much better. You see things like Space Mountain, and Space Mountain now has in the gift shop an area of seats with USB stations. It's literally made for charging.
The buses do too. You can charge on the bus now.
Right. So there's other things going on of ways of charging your phone. So Disney is making those choices now as well.
Yeah. Moving on from there to something I guess Rob's going to blow his FuelRods taking pictures of this. The studio's logo is gone from the archway into the animation courtyard now. This recently got a new paint job as well, but now the old sign is down. This is a very naked archway with some slight discoloration on that center section for some reason. This is... I'm not looking forward to the new thing they're going to be putting here, because that logo is not the greatest.
We've been recently updating our YouTube thumbnails. So if you've seen recently our videos, new stuff, we've been kind of working with our thumbnails. And one of the things I did was add logos of the different parks. And Hollywood Studios was the worst to manage and make look good. It's just terrible. It's like not a pretty logo no matter what you do with it, really. And I don't think it's going to look very good on this archway either. I don't know. I hope that it's actually going to be a signifier of something else. Whether that be like all the stuff that's in the area there, or maybe they're going to make that whole courtyard a land at some point. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, but yeah, if that's what they're doing right there, that's pretty dumb. But it's pretty obvious. Like, what else are you going to do? Like, we saw that coming when we were at the anniversary. We're like, well, this new logo is now going to be slapped over there,
Right.
And that bums people out for sure.
Yeah, I don't know that I read a lot into it. I think they're just replacing the old logo with the new logo. You know, what happens to Animation Courtyard, that's a whole other story. You've got Launch Bay back there, and who knows what kind of longevity that has now that Galaxy's Edge is open. But so far, Studios doesn't seem to have a problem with having Star Wars in multiple places in the park. Yeah, no, I'm just not happy about this because the new logo is garbage, and I know we said that. I was very in your face about it at the anniversary.
You were not alone in that either.
No, but I was like right up at the fence. Nathan was there too. I was right.
You were the front.
Like,
there was nothing between you and management.
Yeah, management could clearly see me thumbs downing the new logo. It was
not thrilled.
And my favorite was when Tom was there, and he looked up at the logo, and he looked back at us. He goes, "And they say I'm the bad guy. Look at this." You know, I mean, you know, it was one of those things. We kind of made fun of it afterwards, and I made one for News Tonight, and just like a mock of it, and it's really super simple, basic. And I haven't seen it on a lot of stuff. Have you guys seen it, like on any merch or anything since they rolled it out? I know it was on the poster.
No, I haven't.
So are they? You think they're backtracking a little bit on it, or you think they're still?
I think it's a temporary logo. I really do. I mean, I think this is the first. I think this is the first sort of signifier that it's not. But what are they doing with that big sign out front? Like, we have not seen them like invest in that, and that's the entranceway. My thing is maybe this is. I think that they are using it. Maybe it's just my hope that it's not. The final thing, you know? Is this the Epcot forever of logos? Like, it's just gonna be here for a little while and then go. But I don't know. Like, is it transitionary? I don't know. But we'll find out.
There's a conversation.
The color scheme I like. I have no issue with it.
What do you want? Oh yeah, I think the new painting on the archway looks gorgeous. Yeah, there's a good conversation. What do you want to stay around longer, Epcot forever or this logo? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
that's a Satan's bargain. I believe is what
which are you more hopeful that it's going? Which do you have higher expectations that what replaces it is going to be better?
Yeah.
Here's the difference, though. Epcot Forever. Wait a minute. Epcot Forever has already been said it's a temporary thing, even though it's got the word forever in it. It's a temporary show. This, no one has told us it's the temporary logo. This is like they're basically saying when you got to tattoo this on your arm, you got to stick with this for a while. It's going to be the logo for the long haul. There's no indication other than they're not really using it that it's going to be temporary. We just hope it is. But you know, Epcot Forever is temporary, and you need to stop beating up on it. You need to wait for Harmonious and then unleash the beast on Harmonious if it's as bad as you think it is. Just saying.
What I would say though about this logo is it might be on T-shirts. You wouldn't know because it's so boring that it just like your eyes just go past it. It's like some sort of perception field. You just can't. You try to look at it and you can't because it's so boring. And so they want to shove all these characters in it to make it interesting. But like, what happens if they put these characters on this sign and then they decide, I know it's Star Wars, Toy Story, and Mickey. It's not like they're really going to go anywhere, but they're going to come a time where they're going to make something slightly permanent. And then they're going to be like, no, we're not going to do that thing. And then they're going to have trouble because they're trying to be flexible.
Also, So A, it's going to last for at least over a year until Runaway Railway even opens, because as of right now, there is no Mickey in studios.
Yep.
This is a very,
And
very good
B,
point.
to that point, like if they want to change a character, just pop out one of the O's and replace it with a different O with a different
Yeah, that's
character.
true.
Like they don't have to
Yeah.
replace
Oh my
the whole sign.
gosh.
They could
Yeah.
replace one character in the logo and leave the rest alone.
Except you will then have like the majority of the letters Florida sun drenched, and the one is like, which is always what sort of happens.
That would have mattered 5 years ago.
Yeah, now.
No.
Yeah.
All right, moving on from there to something we've known for a while, but we finally got it confirmed. Buzzy is missing. I know a lot of people have just kind of accepted this as fact at this point, but it had not been officially confirmed by anyone at this point, if with any authority, that the Buzzy animatronic had been stolen. But at this point, we now do know he gone.
Guys, is this the greatest scandal in all of Disney parks culture? Like, this is insane on multiple levels.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And it's been going on for so long.
Yeah, it really has.
It's crazy. I mean, someone could write a book. This is I'm like holding in me like a serial podcast-esque series about this entire thing once it's finally figured out.
Great would that be? Yeah.
There's so many, like, I mean, something we haven't talked about yet is Robin Lopez from the NBA bought the costume, right? Like, that's something we didn't know before, and he thought it was like legit. I don't know why. Like,
why would you think that's legit?
When I look at the man who sold it, I won't even say his name. It's like Voldemort. When I look at the man who sold it to him, I'm like, you trust that. That's who you're gonna trust. Okay. So I don't know. It's crazy. My favorite thing has been the joke, the fake conspiracy theory that this whole Robin Lopez thing is just a way to get people to go to the NBA experience because he's gonna be there like this weekend or whatever, which I think is super funny. But yeah.
Are people actually believing that, or is that just a running gag?
It's just a gag.
Oh, all right.
They should put Buzzy's clothes into the NBA experience now.
I'd go. That'd be the first time.
It would actually make a lot of people go. They would actually, get a handful of people in the door. So you could go in and see that.
Just very slowly, it will turn into that Disney museum we wanted.
Ben, just to put a little butter on this situation.
Yeah.
You said that he how could he not know? I mean, people sell theme park stuff online all the time. I mean, John Stamos always talks about stuff he's bought, and Neil Patrick Harris famously lost the auction on, or did he win it or lose it? I can't remember, on the Haunted Mansion. I mean, there are a lot. Okay, so there are a lot of things that get sold all the time. So I think that like him not knowing it wasn't legit, he's not in the culture that we are, where like you guys have talked about this thing. We feel like it's like been admitted missing forever because we've like heard about it from the beginning. Maybe it was like, oh, cool, I remember that as a kid. I would love to have the clothes to that. I mean, I think it's a possibility. No,
maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
here's the thing about Robin Lopez. He's into it. Like, you don't buy Buzzy's clothes unless you're into it. So
yeah, there's that.
But
on the
you
flip
got a lot.
side, like, I mean, Tom used to do this for a living. Like, Tom used to sell theme park merchandise. There was a business in Orlando that Tom worked at that sold theme park merchandise. Like, he sold a monorail car. So it's,
Yeah.
I'm sure
and
there
when
were.
you have that void, no one really. I mean, there's some people that do that stuff still, but black market. Not even a black market, but gray market. There's a void.
Disney sells their own now. They don't sell it to third parties like that. They auction it off through, auction sites now.
And presumably this guy bought it before like all of the news broke oh my gosh, Buzzy's missing. So it's like no one's heard anything about it. You could very reasonably believe that it was just excessed and somebody bought it and then sold it.
My favorite quote is from the I think it's the detective who's talking to the guy, and he says, Yeah, the ride has been there since the day that it's been open. It's like iconic, the only one on the planet. It's been there since 1980 something. You were the last one to touch it on the planet Earth. Where is it? Where did it go? But then it goes a little farther, and he says there are Disney nuts out there. Don't you? Like, he tries to make this point that like people love Disney and it's important to them, but he just calls everybody nuts, and it's like the greatest thing because it's like, yeah, we're crazy. This is like
You must see some really weird Disney stuff as an Orlando cop.
Oh my gosh,
man.
I bet.
Well, not to mention this Buzzy animatronic it's worth $400,000, almost $500,000. Like, am I writing a heist movie? Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll find out because this feels like one. Holy moly! Gosh, so it's pretty crazy.
Oh man. Well,
I just feel bad for the hypothalamus because nobody wanted it.
Oh, I'd love to have that.
Archives is like, we don't want it.
Just like put a tiny computer inside of him, have him be the center of your smart home that just controls all the lights and
Archives is like,
everything.
we don't want anything.
What's the wonders of life? Says Archives.
What's the point of the archives? Sorry.
Well, what's the point of having 2 security checks in a row? Like, honestly, like that's.
Agreed.
I'm glad we finally fixed this because it was a problem. You now don't have to go through security to get on the monorail, just to leave security to go back through security to get into Epcot. This was the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen outside of a Disney park. Or inside the bubble, but outside the parks, I'll say.
Right.
That was ridiculous. I'm glad we've got that taken care of at this point.
It's cool. We've gotten new Hollywood studios and new Epcot security checkpoints, and we're working on Magic Kingdom now. And they're great. Like, because now weirdly the first thing you see at a park is the security gate, and it's for so many of them it's looked kind of ragtag. Like, we didn't, like, I don't know, like, we'll put it. Now they're like putting together landscaping that sort of actually feels aesthetically pleasing. Yeah. And we were at Epcot the other night, and we went through the entrance, and I was like, this makes so much more sense. Like, there's so much space here, and like, it works. So
much more room for activities.
Kudos on them. Yeah. For sure.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I'm excited for this. I haven't seen it in person yet, but I'm feeling like this is going to make getting into Epcot through any way other than the back door so much easier, because honestly that backdoor entrance was the best way to get into Epcot for a while, with the security nightmare that was the front gate. Even if it only had like 3 turnstiles and 4 security guards, it was still faster consistently.
Yeah.
Well, and that was the other problem with it.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, it's not just that you had to go through twice, it's that you got off the monorail, and so the monorail dumps 100, 200, 300 people out, and all of a sudden they're all in line at like 4 security counters, and it's like, oh, okay, I just got off the monorail and I've got to wait 20 more minutes to get into the park now.
Yep.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was much simpler just to take a bus from Epcot Kingdom to Boardwalk. For sure. That was the way to do it before.
Yeah, Ben, you were talking about...
Go ahead, Rob.
You were talking about International Gateway, but you were calling it backdoor, which is weird, but not untrue. But International Gateway has always been my favorite way to go. But now that the Skyliner is there, it is starting to become a little bit more of a problem too. So, but it used to be like, like the best, like the second best kept secret at Disney. The first one actually being DVC. But I used to love going in that way. But especially to Jill's point, because now with the monorail, you get that huge dump that comes down there. One of the things I'm really excited about, though, aside from security, is there's just a better entrance to Epcot. It's been so nasty for so long, basically since they had to put in security. It's just been very, like, it almost feels like like prison, like when you're walking in, because it's just, there's a lot of fences. You can't really see much because of the monorail. They have had to dump you off at different places. So I'm just excited that there's like a nice entrance, like the one, Nathan, like you said about Hollywood Studios. It's just a nice entrance now, and it makes you feel like, hey, welcome, here's a cool place to go, as opposed to the one at Epcot's just been kind of painful.
It's like, welcome to
now
jail.
Now Epcot doesn't look terrible until you actually get into the park, and then it looks like garbage.
That's
it's
not
true
unfair.
It's
Well, and
basically
I
a
know,
maze.
that was not a blanket Epcot bash. I'm just saying, as soon as
No.
you enter the park in the front entrance, there are just
Yeah.
construction walls everywhere because they ripped up all the Leave a Legacy and
No,
it hasn't been
it's
cleaned
a war zone. Yeah, it's a war zone.
It's bad.
It's crazy. Because I was just there, and it's you can't really wrap your mind around how much construction is going on until you see it like a big, like, what are they called? Crane?
Crane?
Not what's the thing that's got the scoop? What's the
Oh,
thing
earth
that
movers?
scoops the dirt? Earth
Bolt-
movers.
yeah.
Yeah. When you see one of those like on top of a mound right next to Spaceship Earth, and you're like, you have to look up because it's so tall, and you're like, yeah, they're doing work here. This is an active construction zone that we basically are walking through at all times.
But you know what?
That's
Something we
insane.
could talk about maybe on the post show is like, why do it all at once? Like the same thing with Hollywood Studios.
Sure.
Like, hey, we have most of the Hollywood Studios down. You know, it'd be great. Let's also gut the Great Movie Ride for no particular reason right now. Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why all at once? I get that it's like part of an immersion of a new Epcot, but I mean, wait until Guardians and Ratatouille and some of these things that are almost open are open, and then gut the other part of the park. It just doesn't seem to make sense.
Well, let's end this on something that's a bit happier, at least in my opinion. I think these are great.
The best.
These Merry Menagerie puppets are just the greatest thing. Like we've got some concept art of these, but I'm gonna blow through this relatively quickly because we've got a video of what these things look like, and oh my gosh, is it great! Look at that! It's so cute. Like I cannot wait to see these. Like, get a little seal. Oh my gosh, I could just like this is just gonna be the whole show. Is just oh my gosh, stop talking to me. I want to see cute things.
This is so great.
This is so perfect for this park.
Well, Animal Kingdom has always sort of been like, we're doing Christmas Africa style. Like they didn't really have a theme. It was just sort of like, let's leopard print every Christmas thing. We'll just say that's Animal Kingdom.
Right.
And it's fine, but it didn't feel like the way you feel about even Hollywood Studios now, which is said like, we're kitschy and that's great. And it was amazing. This finally feels like actual holiday theming that's theme park specific to Animal Kingdom, and it's incredible that they're hiring puppeteers, guys.
Yes, they are.
I know, that's the thing that I wanted to say about this too. It's like, oh my god, they're hiring people to bring these puppets out and interact with people throughout the park. Like suddenly all of the Streetmosphere type cuts have stopped. Let's hope, because
or those great moments in history, people are getting these jobs is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's probably
that's what I was wondering too.
Yeah. Which
I wonder if this is only happening because they're under contract and like that we've got them for so long. Let's give them something to do.
I don't know. They probably spent a lot of money.
Yeah, I wouldn't spend this kind of money and time just to hold people around. They'd rather just pay them than invest if they really didn't care. They need something. Everything else has got stuff going on. There's the party at Magic Kingdom. Epcot's now like it has the holiday festival, but that's it's doing its thing. Studios has Galaxy's Edge, and what does Animal Kingdom have? Like it needs something to get people to go, and this is a great addition. I'm excited for the tree and the stuff they'll do on that too. It'll be great.
Yeah. This reminds me. So one of my favorite things about Universal is the Beetle the Bard puppet show that they do. I always thought those were amazing, and I would, stop and watch them every chance I could. So this reminds me of that in terms of the quality. Only I love the fact that it's actually going to be interactive with people, and you can I think it's going to be so amazing to see, little kids walk up to that polar bear or that reindeer and just be like totally wowed by it. Especially, I feel like Animal Kingdom is doing a really good job at this interactive, Streetmosphere entertainment type of thing. Like Kevin has been such a huge success.
Yes.
I'm like, I go nuts for Kevin. I like run to him every time I see him in the park.
And that's
so
a
this
puppet.
feels
I mean,
like
that's
that.
Yeah. And Kevin's 100% a puppeteer. Yeah, because that's very Big Bird-esque, that costume. Like
it is a Big Bird.
A lot of parts going on. Literally a Big Bird.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to see that we recognize that the puppetry is something that works really well in Animal Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
He's not real.
And on that note, we're going to bring the show to a close tonight, folks. Thank you all for joining us tonight.
He's as real as Santa Claus.
If you want to go and
Thank
if you
goodness.
want to go check out
What's that
all
mean?
of these puppets and Snipe in person, we highly recommend you head on over to Never Grow Up Vacations, the official travel sponsor of WDWNT. They are an authorized Disney vacation planner whose focus is in making magic for their clients, and with over 20 years of experience booking Disney vacations, we're sure they can help you make your next trip even more magical. So head on over to wdwnt.travel to contact them about your next trip today. Thank you, folks, for watching. If you're interested in more live stuff from us, tune in tomorrow night, Halloween night, 9 p.m. We're doing WDW News Tonight, the Halloween edition. We've got spooky stories all night. We've got a treat trail. We might have some other guests stopping by. It's going to be a fun time, folks. If you haven't seen this show yet, tomorrow night's a really good night to get into it. I would really recommend that. That is tomorrow night, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern. If you want to watch it live, or you can check out the replays at youtube.com/WDWNT. If you are watching this live, coming up right after this for our wigs is the post show. If you're not one of our wigs, you can head over to patreon.com/WDWNT and subscribe there for as little as $2 a month. You can become part of the WDWNT Interglobe Society, or WIGS for short. Get access to our post show, the post show for News Tonight, and a whole host of other great content. So head on over there. That's patreon.com/WDWNT. All right, that's it for this week, folks. We'll see you next week or in the post show. Have a good night.
Fine, Buzzy.
Oh, man. All right, we're going to hang out here for just a moment here while we let all of the other streams catch up.